IDOs. So it's a very long and very structured project that we've got, and we've been going through the phases step by step. If you guys take a look at our roadmap, every single stage has been crossed off. We have not skipped any step. We're not looking to miss any single stages. We are looking to just build and build, and that's what we've been doing for the last 4 months. And this is the reason why we're out in spaces now. We're talking more about the project so people can know what we've actually got to offer, because the stage that we've built, you cannot fall through. SHILL, over. I need a drink now.
I missed half of that, but well done, my friend.
Good morning, Kiwi. Good morning, sir.
Just to tack on,
killed that shit.
What's up,
I just bought 4 more.
He kind of, I'm good, guys. I'm real good. I just wanted to add on quickly to what he said before questions are asked. He kind of mentioned the analyzation tool in passing, but I will say, I mean, I am looking at that thing right now, and I've been watching it for weeks, like the last week and a half, and I am amazed by what this thing is doing. I haven't used it for actual trading yet. I've been watching it and learning and trying to figure out exactly when and how to use it. And I think I've got that down pat, and I'm about to start putting a few trades against it just to see how it actually performs for me over a few week period. Just small stuff.
And where is that accessible? Where are the tools? Where do the tools become accessible?
The tool will be accessible as soon as we finish minting out the last 260 passes that we've got. We will make the tool available to our holders, and we would just had a few people testing it out. And just for the PSA guys, Kiwi is part of the team, so that's why he's jumped in here and he's excited about it. He's had a chance to test the tool. And Kiwi, did you see that the time oscillation's working perfect now? Your chart should be a 5-minute chart. Hi, good morning.
It is. Good morning, good morning.
Thank you for the show, man. But to be honest, breakfast didn't really seem to make much of a difference.
How can we help you, Fatima? Am I saying your name right?
How are you?
Not too bad this morning. Doing fantastic with a full belly after my breakfast, a great shill, and now I've got dry mouth, so I'm about to go get me a nice cool drink.
Oh, nice.
How are you?
Fine, fine. I'm fine. Where are you from?
I'm from the UK. Have you got something to share with us this morning?
No.
Welcome to being a host.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the Cardano community.
Fatima, have you heard of Cardano?
I don't know what are you saying.
Are you into cryptocurrency?
Bitcoin?
Yeah, I think
Thank you.
someone got lost.
She's dropped.
Someone got lost. So,
Thank you. You know what?
anyway.
I was really trying not to be rude or say anything or...
Doing what you did is the easiest thing to do, bro. Like, I don't even try to engage. Like, I'll just drop to listener and just keep moving. Like, there's no sense in just getting, wrapped around each axle every time that shit happens, because it's gonna continue. There's nothing wrong with what you did, bro.
Yeah,
no,
I know.
All I do with situations like that now is say, look, if you're not sure what we're doing here, drop back down to listener, have a listen into what we're talking about, and if you have any questions, pop back up and ask. And I leave it at that, and I pop them down to listener.
That's why I thought I'd put you as a co-host straight away, Kiwi, so you can be the bad guy. Because I hate being confrontational, and I hate being rude to people. I kind of freeze up a bit.
That's why you just do it like you just did. You just drop it to listener and keep it moving. No one's gonna freaking blame you for this shit. Like, what do you have to engage with all the BS every time?
No, once you've been a host a few more times, man, you'll be ready to just face up and tell them.
Yeah, you won't care. That's it. So how you feeling is short-lived, bro. You won't care after a while. But anyway, back to business, bro. Like, so a homie just reached out to me even yesterday, right? Because he realizes the overexposure to NFTs and the underexposure to crypto, right? And so he was asking me questions about crypto, and I know for an absolute fact he's not the only one. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Quite to my surprise, there was quite a few people who went straight into NFTs prior to crypto, which there's nothing wrong with that. But you're starting to realize there is another side, and there's a lot of money on that side to be made too. We were just unfortunately on the wrong end of that fence, right when most of us got into this shit. We were coming when the money had been made and people were securing profits at that point. But my point is, there's soon going to be a time where a lot of attention is being back directed towards crypto, right, and away from NFTs to a degree. It'll be temporary, but it'll happen for a while, right? Like that attention kind of shifts back and forth. And so at that point, right, a lot of people are going to be like, oh man, crypto, been hearing about this. Let's go. Let's try to figure this out. At that point, it's going to be too late, right? This is a way where you can lock and secure, a few of those tokens without even having to do any of that, right? Like, at the end of the day, by holding a few of these passes, you'll at least have some sort of exposure to crypto, and in all likelihood, some very underrated tokens. You know what I'm saying? Like, because Cardano is just an underrated ecosystem. I shouldn't say underrated. It was an underdeveloped ecosystem. So I think we're soon going to start to realize its potential. Now that we're going live and protocols are starting to slowly roll out, that will attract a lot of attention, right? There's going to be tremendous amount of capital you can make doing that and moving back into NFTs if you choose to do so and stuff. But my point is, by holding an NFT, you can get some of that exposure as well. And bro, like, they're going to continue to start to pop up. You in one that happens to be one of those first person moving advantages, in a way. And so why not? Why not secure what you're comfortable with in NFT and still be able to secure bags, bro, by just holding it? To me, it's a no-brainer. No pun intended.
Yeah, that's why I bought 4 more, so I have 20 now.
I'm gonna snag 2 more today and try to at least get to 5. I don't trade, so like the lower time frame oscillators is, I mean, it would be dope to have for sure, but it's not necessarily appealing, right? Because I try to stay away from those lower time frames unless like I'm trying to see what's happening like in real time. But yeah, by holding them and securing more and more of those allotments, man, it's gonna be huge.
It is actually good to get a feel for all the different times, though. Look, I generally tend to deal on around the 4 hour myself, because I know that's a time that I very well understand. The
Yeah,
dailies and
that's
the
the
4 hour.
lowest I go usually.
Exactly. Yeah. However, understanding the movements on the really short time frames, 5, 15, and 30 minutes, can be really useful to getting a bit of a feeling for what's going on moment to moment, and just sort of seeing how suddenly things can actually move. So it is good to be aware of that, because if you see a sudden movement starting, you can flick to that 5 minute and go, what's actually happening here, before you make a decision on whether to put something in, because you might see it bounce up and down a lot, which means the volumes are not steadily going one way. It's bouncing, it's fluctuating, and you might just want to wait that out and see whether it really starts moving one way, like much quicker. So it can be really useful just before you put on a trade to have a look and see which way the volume's really pushing, or if it's pushing one
No
direction
question.
solidly.
Yeah, if you're putting in a trade and you're not paying attention to those charts, then I couldn't imagine you're too successful at trading unless you're trading on more of like a long-term scale. But yeah, I mean, and I would imagine, as well, just identifying, patterns, chart patterns and stuff. I'm sure you see them a lot more being formed and stuff on lower time frames as well. But I'm not gonna lie to you. The closest thing I've seen to a fireworks show in the crypto space was when I did drop it to those lower time frames when we were crashing. That shit was a show.
For sure. Absolutely.
Sorry, guys.
Indelible, what's up?
My mum was calling me to say
What's up, everyone?
what's happening in Indelible.
What's the difference between the founders and the founders pass and the NFTs that are gonna follow?
Oh, the members pass. Basically,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
only ever going to 5,555 members of the DAO that will carry out the day-to-day works for the launch pad. So the members pass will come after. We haven't decided on a price yet, and we haven't decided on much of the features because that's going to be up to our holders to decide. But it's not going to pack as much punch as the founders pass because we consider you guys to be our OGs, our supporters, the people who believed in us. So you're not going to have the same amount of voting rights. You're not going to get the same amount of airdrops on the developers, surprise airdrops, but you do get the same amount of IDO tokens on those passes. That's the only thing that we have come to a decision with within the holders, that it's fair that everyone receives the same amount of tokens. It doesn't matter whether they're members or founders. It just means the more passes you hold, the more tokens you will receive. But holding a founder's pass, you do receive a lot more than the members.
Thank you.
Good morning, S20 Bull. I see you got your hands up. How are we doing today?
Good morning, gentlemen. Yes, I'm being polite, as you can see. How you doing, Kiwi, Sergeant, Mastodon, Reaper, Indelible, and everybody else in the audience?
Brain, why are you talking to
What's up?
yourself?
Stop asking for recipes, man. This is time to talk about Cardano, not food, Reaper.
I told you he was going to get you back, Reaper. He's come on point today for you. But what was the question
no,
you just
listen,
asked, Reaper?
I'm going to take it back to subject, man. Let's keep it on subject. So two things, Brain. First of all, I'm on the JPEG store looking at the IDO pass, and I see that the link to your website through JPEG is a dead link. Do you guys have an active website at the moment?
No, we don't have an active website at the moment, but there is a pinned tweet that's been pinned there for the last few days that explains that we're actually going through our transition phase. We did have a website, just to let everyone know. We had everything up. It was idopass.io, but as we're transitioning now to our launchpad, we have to move over to idopass. I can't say the rest, finance, which is the last bit, which will then take the DAO holders over into everything on chain. So this is the reason why our idopass.io website is down at the moment until our new one comes up, and then that will have our D app, which will connect to the launchpad, which will have our secret chat channel for the holders. It will have your voting section. It will have everything on chain as a real DAO should operate, which is the Mullock and Zark open source code that we are using to do this at the moment. If anyone knows about DAO House, if you can have a look or Google it, that's the sort of concept we're going for, where everything happens on chain. Nothing happens in a Discord. We don't talk anymore. Within our Discord, everything will be on chain, voting, conversation, proposal, every day-to-day running of a normal company that will be done through the platform. And just to tell you guys how this works, what we have a centralized company which is registered, which abides by all the laws that it's registered in, and that is contracted by the DAO to carry out its day-to-day work. This is how we're able to do whatever we're doing and stay within all the securities that we need to, and keep the treasury and the DAO totally decentralized from the centralized company. So the centralized company just, it's contracted That's all it is. It's just a contract to carry out the day-to-day works of the DAO.
Nice, thank you for that explanation. All right, so second question. So now you're a holder of the IDO pass. You guys are starting to drop the coins, you know, from these initial offerings. Do you guys advise people, because you know, knowing when to sell these coins is also a skill, you know, because there's like, you know, initial rises and drops and pump periods. Do you guys advise on when the best time to sell those coins are, or is that left down to use the analytics tool to the holders?
We do advise on what's going on with the token and what's happening with the project, and we do show you guys how to use the analyzation tool to make your own decision, because then it comes into another security if we start telling you when to sell.
I
So
was gonna say that sounds like a slippery slope, but I'd imagine right with that secret channel that people are communicating back and forth with in real time, right? You're in a DAO, so basically you're within a community. To me, I just feel like it's a no-brainer. There will be conversations, you know, happening in real time while people are paying attention to their charts, having those conversations, and I can only imagine what those conversations are going to be, right?
and that's exactly what we're banking on, that the community start talking about it and start actually reading the analyzation tool, because the analyzation tool is accurate to the millisecond of what's going on with any token across any blockchain. And to take it further, what the analyzation tool does, if you have any assets in real stocks in the Fortune 500 companies, you can also check that too, and it will change the whole UI of that existing charts into our analyzation chart that shows you the movement, the manipulation that's going on within the market, the flow, the power behind every single move. This is why we've spent our time. This tool was actually being built before the actual project came along. So this tool here, it's so advanced for what it does, and it's one of the only tool out there that grabs the native Cardano tokens. There is no other tool that we've found so far that can actually grab the native tokens. It can't grab all of them right now, but only some.
Truth be told, this is part of the reason I was so happy to jump in and help them with a bit of marketing and stuff. After talking with Brain here, it was pretty obvious that he's sunk a fair bit of his own finances into creating this tool, creating the startup for this DAO system. He's in it because he's seen what it can do and how life-changing it can be for people. And after having a big chat with him, it's pretty obvious he's out to really try and make a difference here. So I got in. I'm giving it a shot with him, and I reckon it'll be probably one of the most awesome things to see grow. So, yeah, I like what they're doing. I'll stick with them.
Thank you, Kiwi. And like I said, we will continue to build, because when we first started 4.5 months ago, no one had faith in us. No one wanted to buy our passes, but that did not get us down. It did not deter us or anything at all. We kept on building and building, and now we have a tool that's amazing to use. I know I'm the project developer and it's my tool and I'm talking about this like this, but I'm passionate about it because it does more than what we thought it will be able to do. And if you're really smart in reading the market and knowing what's going on with tokens, you will see that this here that you're getting for 75 ADA, a lifetime access, and you compare the rest of the analyzation tools out there that doesn't even do what our tool does, it's a no-brainer. I'll just pin a couple of tweets to the top, guys, just to show you some examples of the tools. I didn't realize I didn't pin anything at the top. And please feel free, guys, if anyone want to ask any questions, just request and come up.
I have a question, Brain.
No problem.
No, I'm talking to someone else. Okay. I have a question. So I'm not a trader, but I'm very attracted by like holding the pass and just getting the airdrop, is that also just an option? Like I can just hold it and receive the airdrops? Because I'm no trader, I
Yeah.
guess.
No, that's perfectly fine. We've even got some holders that's actually buying them for their kids, and
Right, and I was just gonna say that's me right there. Like I'm not much of a trader. I do pay attention to charts, right? Because I do move and I like to know what I'm talking about. But I stay away from trading for the most part. But so yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm just hodling, man. And what
Yeah.
this is a good addition to doing that. And like Brain was saying, like these could be bags for your kids and stuff that are completely separate than whatever you do on the crypto side, right?
Mm,
It's dope.
interesting. Yeah, I barely stare at charts. Like I don't even look at charts. I just buy NFTs. I have all these raggies, So yeah, but that's cool. It's a cool project, man.
thank
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to say something here that a lot of people I think need to hear. NFTs, a wonderful way to build your bags and create a start to yourself being involved in the markets. Please, please, please do not overlook some of these projects. The actual tokens behind the projects can sometimes have far more growth potential than the NFTs that the projects are putting out. In a few instances, you might see NFTs come out that you might see 10 times, 20 times, maybe even in the future 100 times the value. There are tokens coming out, that 100 times would be the rarest of the lot. They would have to become a blue chip for you to see that kind of potential. The tokens coming out, when you see them come out through some of these IDOs, when they drop on the market, the potential is there for them to, especially with the prices that the IDO pass DAO will be able to get in on, because they're buying larger allotments of the tokens on the platforms that actually allow you to be part of the IDOs. This means they get in at a better buy rate, buying into the IDOs themselves. And the potential when these tokens drop out is more often than not between 3 and 20 times the value that you buy them at on the day they drop on the market. That means if the DAO is aware of what's going on, reacts quick enough, and is watching the market, watching the timing, does the right thing, they can make quite a gain to be able to reinvest with their 50% into another IDO. You yourself have the option to follow those movements, try and do the same thing, make a bit of good money on the day of release of the token, or hold that token long term, watch the growth of the project, and if they do well, see some quite incredible returns.
I'll make a comment on that. When the rag token for raggies first dropped in January, and when the developers first provided liquidity, after that it went up about 5x almost within a few days. So, and that happens a lot, I feel.
And then throw into consideration, right? These are going to be tokens